Hi everyone, welcome to Infidelity Chronicles channel that I'm excited to share a new story with you. I was just lying on my stomach folding laundry, and somehow that was enough to make him reach for me like I owed him something. That's when I knew love had stopped feeling like love. My name is Lily. I'm 43 and I guess this is a confession, not the kind that gets whispered in church or written in lipstick on a bathroom mirror. Just one of those slow-dripping truths that pools in your tea when you lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself when exactly you disappeared inside your own life. I used to feel alive, desired, touched with intention. When Mark and I first got together, everything about him felt solid and warm. He had this quiet, earthy confidence, like no matter where we were, I'd be safe, as long as I was near him. I love that about him. I loved him. He'd pull me in from behind at the kitchen counter, press his mouth to my neck in this absent-minded way that still made my spine light up. But that was almost 10 years ago. Now when he kisses me, when he remembers to, it's like checking something off a list. A dry brush of lips before he grabs his coffee mug and scrolls through his phone. We still cuddle, sometimes out of habit, more than heat. He wraps his arm around me at night, but it's limp like he's placing a jacket over a chair. Sometimes I kiss his shoulder and wait for him to turn to react, to want me back, but his breath stays steady like I never touched him at all. That's what gets to me most, not the lack of sex, not even the lack of words. It's that he doesn't notice the space growing between us, or maybe he does and just doesn't care enough to reach for it. I started forgetting what it feels like to be looked at like I matter, to be seen as a woman, not just the partner who remembers to buy almond milk or text his son to check in. The moment I knew something had shifted, really shifted, was 3 weeks ago. I was lying on my stomach after a shower reading on my phone. When he walked in, he didn't even glance at me. No hey, no touch, no anything. Just grabbed a t-shirt and left. I didn't say a word. I just lay there. The towel slipping from my SS, realizing I felt more naked from his indifference than from being unclothed. Mark's a physical therapist. All hands, all motion. He spends his days helping people move again, walk again, feel again. Ironically, I'm not sure he's touched me in weeks in a way that made me feel like me. He thinks love is action, rubbing my shoulders while we're watching TV, grabbing my waist when I'm stirring the soup, reaching for my thigh in the car when there's silence between us. But it's mechanical now, a series of gestures that feel borrowed from old versions of us. I see the effort, and that somehow makes it worse, like he's trying to play a role, but doesn't remember why he Asianed in the first place last Tuesday. I tried to tell him we were folding laundry, standing across from each other, with towels stacked between us like a neutral zone. I told him I missed the way we used to talk. About nothing, about everything. His face tends that same guarded look he gets when patients tell him their pain isn't going away. "We're talking," he said, tucking a pillowcase into a drawer. "You just don't hear it the way you want to." I almost laughed, but I didn't. I swallowed the ache instead. Later that night, he slid in behind me in bed and cupped my tea like it was an invitation. But all I wanted was for him to ask me how my day really was, to ask why I seemed distant to ask anything. His hands know how to heal other people, but with me it feels like they only press into places I'm trying to protect, and I don't know how to tell him. I need to be held, not just handled tonight. Mark made dinner, grilled salmon, quinto and roasted carrots. His quiet apology after our tense week. He poured me wine without asking, lit the candle in the middle of the table like it was some old ritual. We still remembered how to honor. He was trying. I saw that after dinner. I stood at the sink, rinsing plates while the faucet hissed and steamed. He came up behind me and slid his hands around my waist, resting his chin on my shoulder. "You smell good," he murmured. I didn't move. Didn't lean in, just kept scrubbing the plate like it needed saving. "You okay?" he asked, lips grazing my ear. "I'm fine. That automatic, brittle kind of fine." He kissed the side of my neck once, then again, lingering longer. "You sure?" I hated that. I hesitated, hated that some part of me wanted to let him in, to forget the miles that had built up between us, but I couldn't fake it, not anymore. I dried my hands and turned around, forcing a small smile. "Just tired." "Long day," he nodded, but there was disappointment in his eyes, a shadow of something he wasn't saying. He reached for me again, ran his hands over my SS, slipped one hand down to give but a playful smack. I flinched. It wasn't pain. It was the timing, the assumption, the pattern of it all. Like every kind word was a breadcrumb to the bedroom, every gentle moment. A prelude, he paused. Did that bother you? I shook my head too quickly. No, it just startled me. But inside I was folding it on myself. My skin buzzed with confusion, not from his touch, but from my own numbness to it. I used to melt into his hands. Now I couldn't even tell if I wanted them. Later we sat on the couch, him scrolling his phone, me staring at a show I wasn't watching. He reached over, pulled my legs across his lap. Like always I let him. He rubbed my calf absent-minded, his thumb making slow circles. My C******, T tightened not with desire, but with guilt. I didn't know how to meet him where he was anymore, and I wasn't sure he even knew where I was at all. My head tilted back against the cushion. Why does everything have to turn into sex? It happened during a perfectly normal Sunday. Mark had just finished washing his car shirt, clinging slightly from the sun. I was folding laundry in the bedroom, half listening to a podcast, half dreading the dinner we were hosting that night. Just us and Caleb, Mark's son. He's 24 now, polite, quiet, always a little careful around me, like he senses the tension. I don't say out loud. I was lying on my stomach on the bed, sorting socks when Mark walked in behind me and whistled low. Playful. Damn you trying to distract me before dinner. I froze my hands, gripped a ballad-up pair of socks. I wasn't even in anything suggestive, just an old tank top and shorts. I wasn't trying to be anything, I was just existing. He came up behind me and pressed a kiss to the back of my thigh, something he used to do when we were new when it meant something electric. Now it just made my stomach, not Mark, stop. He chuckled like I was teasing. Come on, it's been a week. Jesus, stop. I sat up so fast. The socks spilled off the bed, his eyes narrowed. What the hell, I was folding laundry. I snapped, hands trembling. That's it. I wasn't trying to distract you. I was just lying down, he blinked, thrown. I was joking. No, you were assuming again, like every time I bend over or lie on my stomach or breathe in front of you, it's an invitation. He stood there, jaw tight, so I can't touch my wife. Now is that what we're doing? And then I broke tears, surged forward, hot, uninvited, humiliating. You don't see me anymore. Mark, you only touch me when you want something. I'm not on a to-do list or a warm body or a goddamn flirt. Just because I happen to be lying a certain way. Silence stretched between us. Then he shook his head. I don't know what you want from me. Lily. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I just turned, walked into the bathroom and shut the door quietly. I sat on the floor, my back against the tub, and buried my face in my hands. Why did I say it like that? Why did it have to explode? The shame settled fast, thick and cold in my C*******T, and worst part of me still wished he'd followed me in the days after the argument fell into a quiet that didn't feel like peace. We moved around each other like ghosts, polite, careful, unbearably distant. Mark stopped reaching for me. No touches, no comments, not even the habitual squeeze of my shoulder. When he passed behind me at the sink, he wasn't cruel, just absent, like something inside him had finally folded in two, and I missed him, not just the version of him. I used to crave the man who pulled me onto his lap at parties or whispered something ridiculous in my ear just to make me snort laugh. I missed the way we used to exist together, the stupid routines, the shorthand glances, the way he always poured my coffee first, even when he was pissed. Now he poured his own. Once I caught him staring at the floor in the hallway, holding a shirt in his hands like he'd forgotten what he came in to do. His face was blank, but his eyes looked hollow, like he was just as lost as I was. I wanted to say something, anything, but I didn't know where to start. Would he even believe me if I said I didn't mean to push him away, that I was just hurting and didn't know how to say it without blaming him? The worst part was knowing I'd built this wall brick by brick, and now I didn't know how to knock it down without breaking both of us. Yesterday I watched him pull out of the driveway alone for his morning run. He didn't look back. I stood in the kitchen, hands wrapped around a mug that had gone cold, asking myself one impossible question. Do I try again, or do I finally let go? It was raining the night. Mark finally asked, "Are we okay?" We were in the living room, both pretending to watch some crime show we'd seen before. His voice cracked the air like thunder. Quiet but final. I didn't look at him right away. I stared at the screen, then down at my hands in my lap. No, I said softly, I don't think we are. He nodded like he already knew, like he'd been waiting to hear it out loud. I didn't know how far apart we'd gotten, he said. And then I did, and I didn't know how to fix it without making it worse. I swallowed hard. I didn't want to feel like a body. You just touched out of habit. I wanted to feel seen like a person again. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes glassy. I thought I was loving you the only way I knew how I know. I whispered. That's the part that hurts the most. We didn't scream, we didn't beg. We just sat there in the dim light with the 999 memories between us and no clear way back. Later that night, I came out to find him asleep on the couch, his arm draped over his eyes, his C***** T rising slow and heavy. I knelt beside him, brushing his hair back like I used to. He didn't wake. I kissed his forehead gently just once, and it felt like a goodbye. Not angry or sharp, but quiet and exhausted like three people. Finally realizing that wanting something badly isn't the same as being able to hold it together. I went back to bed alone, and for the first time in a long time I didn't cry. I just let it be what it was, an ending. So yeah, I was lying on my stomach and my stepson didn't waste time, but it wasn't like that. Not the way you might think. He didn't say anything inappropriate. He didn't touch me. He just walked into the room, glanced down at me, and walked right back out. And that's when I realized what had changed. It wasn't lust or betrayal, or even longing. It was invisible. I'd spent years twisting myself into someone desirable, someone easy to love, easy to reach for, easy to want. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking whether I was being loved in the right way, in a way that made me feel known. Desire without intimacy is a slow starvation. It looks like closeness, hands on your waist, a kiss at your neck, a warm body next to yours in bed. But if your soul isn't being held, you start to hollow out quietly, and no one notices until there's nothing left to reach for. Mark wasn't a bad man. He wasn't cruel or unfaithful. He just couldn't meet me in the place I was bleeding from, and I didn't know how to tell him where that place even was until it was too late. I kept waiting for him to ask me how I felt. I wanted him to touch me without expecting anything, to want me, not just access to me. But maybe what I wanted most was to feel like I wasn't the only one holding our love together with bruised hands. In the end, he let me go gently. I think he knew before I did that we were only keeping each other out of fear. And when you stop choosing someone, really choosing them, love becomes a habit, a tired one. I don't hate him. I don't even regret loving him, but I've learned this. It's not enough to be touched. You have to be seen. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment. If you enjoyed the story, this will help us create even more exciting stories just for